So I absolutely love protein. Absolutely love it with a capital Love. But is there a such thing as eating too much protein? Can you actually have too much of a good thing like protein? Well, let's talk about it. So the recommended dietary allowance for protein is 0.8 grams per kilogram of body weight, or 0.36 grams per pound. Now, this recommendation does not take into consideration your goals. So if you want to lose weight, if you want to burn fat, if you want to build muscle, none of those things are taken into consideration in this recommendation. This recommendation is solely for the purposes of avoiding deficiencies. So for example, if you're a 140-pound, 50-year-old woman that doesn't exercise, you would need roughly about 53 grams of protein per day. Now, there's something really important about what I just said. I said a 50-year-old woman that doesn't exercise. And the key is doesn't exercise. So the assumption would be that if you exercise, you would obviously need to consume more protein, right? Well, the answer is possibly, but let's discuss that a little bit later. So to make sure that we're all clear and we're all on the same page, what exactly is a protein? Now, you've probably heard someone say that protein is the building blocks of muscle, and that is true. But protein is much more important than that. It's not only the building blocks of our muscle, but it's also the building blocks of every single tissue in our bodies. Now, these proteins are broken down into amino acids, and these amino acids are broken down into two classes. The two classes are the essential ones and the non-essential ones. And the difference between the essential amino acids and the non-essential amino acids is simple. The non-essential amino acids we can produce, and the essential ones we cannot produce. So we need to consume them through the things that we eat and the supplements that we take. And just in case you were wondering, there's about 500 amino acids that have been found in nature. However, only 20 of them are the ones that make up the proteins in our bodies. Now, out of these 20 amino acids, 9 of them are the essential ones and the rest are the non-essential ones. So now that we know what the recommended dietary allowance is for protein and we know exactly what proteins are, let's get back to that assumption that I made earlier. So earlier I said that the recommended dietary allowance was just to avoid deficiencies and for people that don't exercise. So I made an assumption that if you exercise, you would obviously need more protein. But is that true? Do you actually need to consume more protein if you exercise? Well, I think the jury is still out on the exact amount of protein you would need to eat if you exercise and you're looking to burn fat, if you're looking to build muscle, if you're looking to lose weight. However, most of the studies do show and do agree that you would definitely benefit from consuming more protein if you do exercise. Now, most of the studies that I've looked at put that more number in the range of 1.2 to 2 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight. But there are some studies that push that more number as high as 3 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight. And if you live in the States and you use pounds instead of kilograms and you're wondering how to convert your weight in pounds or your weight from pounds to kilograms, just take your body weight, divide that by 2.2, and that'll give you your body weight in kilograms. Now, it is important to note that the amount of protein that you should consume will depend on some factors like the type of exercise you do, the amount of it you do, and the intensity of that exercise. So now that we know that you probably need to be eating more protein and you have a rough guide or a rough estimate to how much protein you should be eating, but we still haven't answered the original question of, can you eat too much protein? And the answer is it depends. And it really just depends on why you're asking the question in the first place. Now, most people that ask this question are asking for one of two main reasons. The first reason is they want to know if eating too much protein can physically be harmful and dangerous. And the second reason is they want to know if eating too much protein is just a waste of time and money. So let's talk about those two main reasons. So firstly, is there an amount of protein that you can eat that can be dangerous? And the answer is maybe. Now, some of the health concerns that have been linked to eating higher amounts of protein are constipation, diarrhea, dehydration, but these health concerns can get as serious as an increased risk of cancer, heart disease, and kidney damage. Now, out of these reasons that I just mentioned, the ones that are most talked about are the most concerning, like kidney damage, heart disease, and an increased risk of cancer. So let's talk a little bit more about those. Now, there are no major studies that show any links between high protein diets and kidney damage in healthy individuals. However, there are some studies that do show some links between high protein diets and kidney disease or kidney damage in people that already have pre-existing kidney disease. When it comes to cancer and animal protein, and I think it's important to point out animal protein because all of the links with protein and cancer had to do with animal protein and not plant-based protein. We do know that cooking animal foods at high heat can cause carcinogens, and carcinogens are capable of causing cancer. Now, you might be asking yourself, well, is it the meat that causes the cancer, or is it the way the food is cooked? And it seems to be more linked to how hot the food is and how long it's cooked that has the possible cancer-causing effect, because methods of cooking like stewing, steaming, and poaching seem to have very little, if no effect on causing cancer. But we have to remember that correlation does not mean causation. So just because something correlates with a cause of something does not mean that it necessarily causes it. Now, as far as animal protein and heart disease goes, and again, I think it's important to point out animal protein because all of the studies that showed any links between protein and heart disease all used animal protein and not plant-based protein. But there is a popular belief that the high levels of saturated fat, high levels of triglycerides, and cholesterol found in meat do play a role or do play a part in heart disease. But all of the studies show more of a correlation than an actual cause of heart disease. And as we know, again, as we talked about, correlation does not mean causation. So, can eating too much protein, or more specifically, can eating too much animal protein be harmful? And I guess the easiest way to answer this question is, it depends. See, if you have a pre-existing health concern, then eating too much animal protein could be a concern. However, if you're completely healthy, then chances are you have absolutely nothing to worry about. However, I am no medical professional, so if you have any questions or concerns, please speak to your doctor. Now, if you're wondering if taking in too much protein, eating too much protein can be a waste of time and money, then you're probably more worried or wondering about supplements like protein powders and bars than you are about eating too much protein. And what I like to tell my clients is that, yeah, at times supplements can be more convenient. Protein powders and bars, they can definitely be more convenient at times. However, if you can meet your protein needs through food, then supplements are really unnecessary, because supplements are meant to give your body what you're missing from your diet. And really, to be honest with you, the quality of protein that you're going to get from your food is always going to be better than the quality of protein that you're going to get from a supplement.